think that will be of interest to you. And to moderate today's event is the chairperson of our Government Affairs Committee, Joel Sambursky of Liberty Wealth Management. Joel?
Okay, thanks, Les. The Carbondale Chamber of Commerce consists of more than 400 members ranging from single entrepreneurs with home-based businesses to national franchises and locally owned multi-million-dollar companies. In August 2010, the Chamber Board of Directors adopted core principles. These principles reflect the goals listed in the Chamber of Commerce mission statement and serve as a guideline for what board members feel is important. Among a few of the 17 core principles the Chamber adopted are encouraging a business-friendly environment, advocating for legislation at the federal, state, and local levels that positively impacts Carbondale's businesses, fostering an environment that is welcoming for our out-of-town guests, encouraging population growth through diverse housing ranges and appropriate taxation. And another one I thought was appropriate to mention today would be fostering community leadership in various offices, roles, and organizations, both public and private. The entire list can be viewed on the About Us section on the Chamber's website. So we hope Carbondale's elected officials share the Chamber's principles in helping make Carbondale a great place to live, work, invest, and play. We thank each of you for participating in this City Council Candidate Forum, and as I'm sure you've noticed, today is the event is being broadcast on Channel 16, the City of Carbondale's informational television, available on Mediacom. Additionally, a video of today's forum will be available on the Chamber website at www.carbondalechamber.com. The format for today's event will be this. Questions to be asked of each candidate have been developed by the Chamber's Government Affairs Committee. I'll ask the same question to each of you. For each question, we will ask a different candidate to give his or her response first. The first question will provide you an opportunity to introduce yourself to the members in the audience. For that reason, you're going to have 2 minutes to respond. For each of the remaining questions, you'll be allowed 1 minute to respond. And Les, where's Les at? Les will be holding up a card when you have 15 seconds remaining, and he'll hold up the card again when your time has expired, so that we may be able to get to all the questions and have an opportunity from all the candidates. Please be respectful of the allotted time. So we're going to start with Jessica Bradshaw, and again, you're going to have 2 minutes to respond to this question. First, just please introduce yourself and tell us why you are confident in your ability to serve as a member of the City Council.
Well, thank you, and thank you to everyone who's here. Can you hear me okay? I believe I'm the best qualified candidate for City Council because of my wide experience in the city. I am a CCHS and Lincoln Junior High School graduate, and I currently work at SAU as an office manager. I used to own Rosetta Stone Bookstore, which some of you may remember, and I was a chamber member during my, it had a long history. I was one of the various owners over its history, but I was a chamber member as well as a Carbondale Main Street member when I ran that business over by Quattro's, and then I moved it over to behind Long Branch, and also got involved in the historic downtown business district when I was down there. I'm also involved in several community organizations. I have DJ'd at WDBX, Southern Illinois community radio station. I am currently on the board of the recently created Northwest Neighborhood Association, which just started in the last year, and I'm the chair of the communications committee on that as well. I also helped organize the most recent 11 Days for Food Justice event with Nonviolent Carbondale. For those of you who aren't familiar with that, that's a working group of the Carbondale Human Relations Commission, which I'm the current chair of as well. And the Human Relations Commission was formed to improve race relations and address conflicts between peace officers and community residents, and has since proved to be an effective organization for forging a harmonious community. I'd like to continue that and by being your next community city council member. Thank you.
Lee?
Good afternoon. I'm Lee Fronebarger. I'm currently serving as a city councilman here in Carbondale, nearly 2 years now. I have also served 4 years on the City Planning Commission. I am a 20-plus year resident, homeowner, and taxpayer here in Carbondale. For 21 years, I've been working at SIU with transfer students, and in the past 2 years, my office works with international students, which we all know students are very key to our local economy. Over the 20 years that I've lived here in Carbondale, I have done a lot of volunteer work. A lot of volunteer time has gone to the Carbondale Park District. I've served on several committees like Grounds Facilities, the Hickory Lodge Committee, and most recently, for the past 8 years, I've been working on research, planning, and fundraising for the new Outdoor Family Aquatics Center. I've also volunteered with the Carbondale Main Street program, was on several committees with Main Street, and also served on the board of directors. I have volunteered for Keep Carbondale Beautiful, their cleanup days. I was also a volunteer for the restoration of the Varsity Theater here in downtown Carbondale. And I want to continue to serve on the council to move Carbondale forward. I take a lot of pride in our community, and I want to see it grow and prosper. So I would like to continue serving on the city council. Thank you.
Carolyn?
Good afternoon. I'm Carolyn Harvey. I've lived in Carbondale for 42 years. I'm a homeowner. I have 2 children and a husband. We like living in Carbondale. In the time that I've been here, I've volunteered on many school, church, social, and civic organizations. I currently work at SIU. I've worked there since 1978, so 30-plus years as an accountant for SIU. I understand the budget process and the importance of maintaining a balanced budget and the fiscal solvency of the city. I'm currently serving as chair of the Carbondale Planning Commission. I've been on the commission for 10 years as a member, as vice chair, and currently as chair. I've served on several search committees for SIU, including searches for chancellors and president, also several dean searches and other positions. I've served as the vice chancellor, gave myself a promotion. I've served as vice president for the Association of Civil Service Employees, which is associated with IEA-NEA. I'm currently serving as president of the Civil Service Council. I'm also the treasurer of the Women's Center Board of Directors. I have experience working with a team and on a team, and I understand the importance of that. I would like to voice your concerns and serve you. I ask for your support. I'm number 3 on the ballot. I ask for you to vote for Carolyn Harvey. Thank you.
Gerald?
Hi, Gerald Henrich. Lived here in Carbondale for the last 9 years. I've been a homeowner and a landlord as well for the last 5. I currently serve as the vice chair of the Human Relations Commission. I'm a current student at the law school over here. I've served in the National Guard since 2002. Went to undergraduate here and got commissioned, went through the ROTC program. Served as platoon leader for 3 years. I look forward to being your next city council person, at least one of the 3, and look forward to talking to you all later. Thank you.
Navreet?
Thank you. First of all, would love to thank you for welcoming us to this forum, giving us the opportunity to speak about it. And just to let you know a little bit about it, most people that I look around, they know me. But those who don't know me well, I'll tell you, I was born and raised in India, partly brought up in England, worked for the British government in the Military Intelligence Branch 6, and I was second lieutenant in the military in the Indian Army. After I came to the United States in 1981, so that's over 30 plus years, I've been here 32 years. I got my MBA degree from Southern Illinois University in Edwardsville. I have a master's degree in horticulture before that from University of Reading, England. So I have been here for 24 years in Carbondale. permanently planted as a business owner, just like most of you. I own a state farm insurance agency here for 24 years. So I know how to balance a checkbook, how to budget things. So I have a great deal of experience. I manage over 100 people in a profit center in St. Louis for 6.5 years for a major home improvement company from top to down. And right now, I've been serving for the last over 10 years on the Planning Commission. I've served in the capacity as also on the Zoning Board of Appeals for about the same length. I've served as the chairman of those two commissions, as was vice chair. I've been a member of the Kiwanis Club for over 20 years and served as the president, served as the lieutenant governor for the Division 36. I was the distinguished president for the Kiwanis Club here. So anyway, I served as the Carbondale Park District Commissioner 2 terms. So I have a great deal of experience in public service as well as in the business. So I think I'll be a best choice for you to vote for me on the City Council, April 9th. Thank you.
Brent.
Hello. Thanks, Joe, and thank you all for this opportunity. My name is Brent Ritzel. I was born and raised here in Carbondale. I was born in Holden Hospital, which is where the old National Parking Lot currently stands. And a lot of you may know me from my work 3 years as president of the Fuller Dome Home. One of the things I did while president was I co-wrote the winning $125,000 Save America's Treasures grant. I'm currently an MPA student, Master's in Public Administration at Southern Illinois University here. Also, I'm a graduate assistant in political papers and special collections. And also, I'm an equity partner in a renewable energy company for whom I write scientific papers. And the products that we sell are $150 million power plants, and we're primarily partnered with the DOE and the DOD. After graduating here from CCHS, I went to school up at Northwestern in Chicago, got a degree in philosophy, which qualified me to drive a taxi. So instead, before I graduated, I started my first business, running some record labels that grew into 3 record labels, and I was working with 24 bands. And then that kind of transformed into publishing. I started publishing music magazines and went on for 15 years to have a small business publishing music magazines, including the world's top independent press resource guide, Zine Guide. And during that time, I also trained a number of musicians and artists to run their own businesses and really was engaged in entrepreneurial education. And so that's why when I came back here 4 years ago, one of the first things I did was sit down with Kristen Gregory and talk about some of the experiences I'd had with both the Evanston, Illinois Chamber of Commerce and the Boulder, Colorado Chamber of Commerce, where I helped to establish young professional networks there. Because the funny thing was, even Boulder and Evanston experienced the reality of brain drain, their students leaving town. And so we implemented a number of strategies in those cities, and those are ideas I'd like to continue to bring here to Carbondale to solve that problem of so many students leaving upon graduation.
Okay, thanks, Brian. The second question is we're going to start with Navreet Kong. Navreet, what do you feel are the 3 most important issues facing the city of Carbondale, and how, as a city council member, would you address them?
Well, first off, we have very low enrollment at SIU. I talked about last night, a League of Women Voters. We gave SIU $20 million over 20 years and to put brick and mortar together. Not that that's not important, but when we are suffering from student disenrollment going down every year consistently for the last few years, if we had taken that $1 million a year and diverted that towards subsidized scholarships for students who are brilliant students, we can bring them into SIU and give them a break on their tuition, you can fill those halls with students. If you have students, we have a lot of business. Business will thrive because we have a thriving town, thriving SIU. SIU is a big part of the economy of Carbondale, and so is the Southern Illinois Health Services. So we have lots of businesses here. We need to develop business. And then the environment. We have to clean up our environment here. Littering is a big issue. We should have more containers and all that. So sorry, my time is up. I would have answered the question completely
And I
otherwise.
should have reminded the council, the candidates that we have 1 minute for the remaining questions. And I'll repeat the question. What do you feel are the 3 most important issues facing the city of Carbondale, and how, as a city council member, would you address them? Brent?
Thank you, Joel. First of all, I think we need to continue to make Carbondale, transform it into more of a living destination. We've been focused a lot on it as a tourist destination, but we want more people to be inclined and driven to move here. I think the key to that is going ahead and continuing to follow the comprehensive plan and implementing that and applying that absolutely across the board, because it's a vision to a positive future for Carbondale. Also, I think that one very important thing is growing local grassroots entrepreneurial capacity here in Carbondale. And a big way to do that is to engage the students further in the community, especially by bringing them into our businesses. I ran my businesses in Chicago largely off the assistance of unpaid interns, and it seems like I've talked to career services here at SIU, and it seems like it's easier for people to get internships in Los Angeles and New York than here in Carbondale. Now I would really like to bolster that up. It's going to engage students on a different, deeper level in our community and also teach them to stay here and run businesses.
Okay, thank you. Jessica?
Thank you. First, three things. I would revitalize the downtown area. I believe that we need to focus on sustainable development. And the third one is community support. Let me give you some examples briefly under each. Revitalizing downtown, I'd like to use the TIF district that was just established to encourage more local business. I think that we could, if there was some way that we could encourage more local businesses to go downtown and to also beautify the area. I think Carbondale Main Street does a great example of what they're doing is the curb appeal program, where they're redoing business facades. And that also goes to my third point, which is community support. I think we need to continue to support our community organizations, as well as support our local businesses, musicians, artists, and everyone who's doing great work in this community.
Okay.
And I'm out of time.
Thanks. Lee?
My number one priority is economic development and jobs. This is what will help the community grow and also provide the revenue for much needed special projects in Carbondale, like downtown redevelopment, bicycle paths and whatnot. So economics and jobs are very important. Also, we need to assist SIU in turning around the decline in enrollment. The city is not in the driver's seat on this issue, but we are in the car. We can do things like provide a safe environment, clean and safe housing, additional jobs. A lot of college students have to have a part-time job to afford college, so we need to provide as many job opportunities as possible. And my third priority is housing. We need housing at all income levels, especially in the medium range. A lot of young families, new families that come to the area tend to pick neighboring communities because we don't have the housing stock here. Thank you.
Okay. Carolyn?
My three things would be, number one, maintaining our budget with all the cuts coming from the state. Carbondale has to be very careful to maintain a balanced budget. Secondly, I wrote housing. Maintaining or providing moderately priced housing for moderate income families, also for students who are looking for good quality housing that they can afford. And thirdly, improving the look of our downtown. Thank you.
Okay. Gerald?
We've got we've had many vacant lots and buildings surrounding a lot of your businesses around here. The Strip looks pretty ran down. We have issues with crime. We need to sit down and work with the city officials, encourage business owners to invest in this community, not make it more difficult if you want to build or add on to your businesses. If we make it easier for the business community to operate effectively, we will better be able to attract more students to this university, which is how we all make money here.
Okay. Thank you. The next question is, we're going to start with Carolyn, and that is, what is your perception of the Carbondale business climate, and what, if anything, do you believe needs to be changed to expand business in our community?
My perception of the business climate is that, from the people I've talked to, sometimes it's not very friendly. So just changing that perception, and one person I talked to said, perception is reality, and that is true. If business people and even me as a customer perceive that it's hard to start a business or to, just for Carbondale to be business friendly, that's the reality. So changing that, some of the ways we could change that would be possibly when we receive a business plan, making sure that it's handled in a timely manner, working with that person to make sure that if things need to be changed, that we can get those changed in a timely manner, and being more friendly and just getting things done. Thank you.
Gerald, you're next. Yeah.
I think another thing we could do, I guess, just kind of continue my diatribe there, is issue a few more liquor licenses, open up the strip on Halloween. Gosh, there's a lot of stuff we could really do. We could start working more with the people that own properties and businesses, and it just seems frustrating to a lot of people that I've spoken with, that it seems like if you're succeeding in business, you're succeeding despite the city sometimes, instead of having the city encourage you to succeed. Thank you.
Navreet?
Thank you. Well, first off, business development is the #1 goal that we have to have in Carbondale that brings in jobs, brings in revenues. And we are not a can-do council at this time. We don't have the can-do attitude. We have to adopt that attitude if we want to really make businesses successful, attract quality people into this town. And this town also needs, after 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, it's dead town pretty much. We don't have any nightlife. We can make it a center of entertainment for the Southern Illinois and attract people. Paducah did it for years, and they still do it to some extent, so why can't we do it? So we need to have something put back into this town that will bring the life back in Carbondale. Dining facilities, they are just suffering. We have so many businesses closed because we don't have anything going for here. So that's my #1 priority, would be just that we will have to be a business-friendly town, business-friendly council, so I'll do more for the business.
Okay. Brent?
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, my #1 priority in running for city council is to increase grassroots entrepreneurial business capacity here in Carbondale, and that's to grow the reality of small businesses and to create a climate where those can develop a lot more readily. The city needs to work in partnership with both SIU, via Dunn Richmond, and other capacities there, and the Chamber of Commerce, to do things like create really first-stage incubators, both for science and technology companies and arts and entertainment companies. We have so much incredible indigenous genius here in Carbondale in those regards, but they need the proper business training in order to transform those skill sets into viable businesses. I don't really believe in focusing on importing businesses in. We have enough here that we can grow them ourselves. It's cheaper that way. Also, I'd like to see us create some tax incentives for businesses owned by Carbondale residents and also employee-owned businesses. I think that's going to help create a better business climate for everyone, much more equitable one, too.
Okay. Thank you. Jessica?
Yeah, a few things. Carolyn mentioned that perception is reality, and it was actually Sherry Ratcliffe who told me that at our Human Relations Commission meeting back in December. She said that regardless of whether Carbondale is actually unfriendly towards business or not, if people perceive it that way, then that's a big problem. A few things I would highlight are more mixed-use buildings, so that you have people who live right near, right near businesses, where you have businesses on the ground floor and apartments above, things like that, so that there's no issue of parking or having to go anywhere, where people live right near local businesses. Second, I'd like to build a downtown transportation hub and make Carbondale the destination for people from out of state, where we have a hotel downtown, and so that we can really build ourselves as the gateway to the wine trail and to boost tourism.
Okay. Thank you. Lee?
Okay. The city has to work in partnership with the existing businesses and any new businesses that we come into the community. If the businesses are successful, the town will grow and prosper as well. I strongly urge the chamber to continue the business visit project that was started, I think, last year between Gary Williams and Sherry Ratcliffe of the Chamber. This was an excellent program. It was an excellent way to determine special needs of businesses and also to find common concerns of all businesses, like panhandling that came up the last time. So I would encourage the Chamber to continue that program. And we need to also have programs like your Shop Local and Win campaign last Christmas. We need more campaigns like that to have people shop locally and to bring in more people from the region to come to Carbondale and do their retail trade. Thank you.
The next question is, we're going to start with Brent. And that is, what do you see as Carbondale's role in the region and in the regional economy?
Oh, it's I think obviously pretty humongous. With Southern Illinois University and SIH, we have some of the larger business concerns in Southern Illinois, and we've always been relatively the economic and intellectual capital of Southern Illinois. So we play a very pivotal role, and I think a leadership role. And I think the City Council needs to take that opportunity and really put Carbondale forth with a vision towards the future and trying to lead Southern Illinois forward with more modern business models and business practices. Having an opportunity to live in Chicago and especially Boulder, Colorado, which is one of the entrepreneurial centers of the universe, there's a lot more innovation and development that's being implemented when it comes to business plans and business implementations. And I'd like to see us as a city of Carbondale get a little bit more innovative and really take a look at the best practices that are existing at the 30,000 different municipalities around the country and implement those in order to lead Southern Illinois.
Okay, thank you. Jessica?
Thank you. Well, this kind of goes back with what I was just saying with the last question, is I think we need to get Carbondale, market Carbondale as the gateway to the Wine Trail, the Shawnee National Forest, Crab Orchard National Wildlife Refuge, as well as the home of SIU. I think I've looked at some other towns that are gateways to national parks, for example, and it really would draw in more tourism, especially if we renovated our downtown area. Another thing that I'd like to do, in addition to a downtown transportation hub, is figure out a way so that we can have free parking downtown, which what I'm imagining is something like in bigger cities where you have a parking validation system. So if people actually come downtown and shop or dine or otherwise spend money, they can park for free.
Okay, thank you. Lee?
Okay. We must continue and expand our role as a center for commerce, medical services, education, entertainment, dining, and cultural events. We should take an inventory of what businesses and services we have here in Carbondale, and any voids that we have, we need to attract those so that more and more people will come here as the center of commerce to Carbondale. And we need to strengthen our role as the economic center of Carbondale and provide good customer service and friendly customer service to those that come to our community. Thank you.
Carolyn?
The question was, what is our role?
Yeah, what do you see
In
as
the
Carbondale's, what do you see
Okay.
as Carbondale's role in the region and in the regional economy?
Okay, thank you. Okay, I see our role, we are the leader. And as leader, we provide the educational and medical services to this area. We want to continue being the leader by continuing to provide those services, also by improving our housing stock and making Carbondale a more friendly community.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jared?
Yes, Carbondale certainly is the economic center of the South of Illinois. We certainly need to continue that responsibility and role. I'd like to see more things for people to do in this town. As far as, Jessica mentioned earlier, being the gateway to the wine trail, I think that oftentimes whenever we become gateways to other places, we're losing revenue. I'd like to see more, perhaps microbreweries or hotels in the downtown area, or wherever we can get them zoned to be, and continue this position of leadership. Thank you.
Okay. Matt Breed?
Thank you. Well, we have our students, our own children, they don't go to SIU majority of the time. They don't get sought out by SIU, and they're the last ones to get a card from SIU to come visit. So we have to, the number one, they go out, they get a job out there. We don't have any jobs to offer those children here, so we are having a biggest brain drain. And that's one thing I like to bring back is we should develop businesses here, invite new businesses, industry, that's a better paying jobs, not just the minimum wage. So those kind of things we like to have, and we are very good at. We have a great educational institute here. We have a great medical center, center of medical services. People, we attract them from all over the place, tourism, wineries. So we should continue to do that.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, we're going to start with Lee, and that is, what role, if any, should the city play in Southern Illinois University student recruitment and retention efforts?
As I kind of talked about this before, the city itself is not in the driver's seat on this issue, but we are in the car. We have to provide students with a very friendly, safe environment. When parents send their sons and daughters to Carbondale, they want to make sure that they're safe and get a good education while they're here in Carbondale. So, things like police protection, housing inspections, things like that, and also providing extra jobs in the community. Like I mentioned before, a lot of students need the jobs to be able to pay for that education. So those are the things that we can do. Like I said, we're not the force. It's probably Lippman Hearn right now that has the grip on the steering wheel, but we are in the car, and we should take part in the recruitment and enrollment turnaround.
Okay, thank you. Carolyn?
I agree with what Lee just said. Some of the things I wrote down were making sure that Carbondale is a safe city, that our police are on their job, not only overseeing the parties, but also the actual security of the students. Also providing good quality housing at an affordable cost. Making sure that we have jobs for those students. We have, at this point, 17,000 students. Some of them are working on campus, but some of them are looking for jobs in your businesses. So providing jobs for those students and providing services to parents who are here to visit, making sure that we have quality hotels and restaurants that they can eat at or contribute their monies to while they're here visiting, and that they have something to do while they're here with their children. Thank you.
Okay. Gerald?
Okay, well, I guess we could always attempt to invest in infrastructure if we can find any money. But again, the thing is, we were talking about perception a little bit earlier. You drive down the Strip or you drive down East Main Street, you're seeing vacant lots and buildings. We got to come up with some type of a solution. I don't have the answer right now, but I'm going to try and find one. We do have some issues with lighting. Back behind Pinch Penny and Saluki Bar now, there's a trail back there. It has inadequate lighting. I know it's not necessarily city property. It's Carbondale Park District, but there's things that need to be changed to make it a safer environment for students, to make people want to bring their children here to go to school and feel safe.
Thank you. I touched on earlier that we don't recruit our own children here. SIU has done a very poor job. From what I know, I had to raise 3 children here before, 3 daughters, and none of them got an invite from SIU till the last minute. They've been to other schools. My oldest daughter went to Vanderbilt. My middle one went to U of I. The youngest one, I kept her here. So she graduated with a bachelor's degree about 4 years ago. Anyway, so we had to attract them back here. The safer environment for our students, the housing stock that they live in. Some places I wouldn't tie my dog in there. So that's the kind of housing we offer. So we got to improve that. So those are kind of things that what doesn't bring those children here to come to become our students. And we don't want students, we want their money. We don't treat them with respect. So those are kind of things we got to extend to those students to keep them and attract them.
Brent?
I believe that Carbondale can play a role on a couple fronts. First of all, is continuing to transform the town into more of an actual living destination to provide the amenities that most people get used to in college towns, like your bike paths and walking paths and splash parks. And also, I would like to see Carbondale engage not just in helping to create more job opportunities, but to create opportunities beyond jobs, opportunities for wealth creation. And we know that wealth is really only created through ownership of businesses or of retail. It's hard to compete with kids going back to Chicago when our property taxes are 3 times that in Chicago. And so that's a really major problem that we have to get a grip on. But I'd like to focus more on actually creating the opportunities for students to stay here and build a more significant life for themselves. And I believe that's further engagement with the business community, with the SIU students.
Okay. Jessica?
I think that the city can be more welcoming to students. I think that's the role that we can play. Like Carolyn and Lee said, I don't think that we can necessarily tell SIU how to run SIU. We need to provide more livable wage jobs so that once students graduate, they can stay here, and also when they're in school, they can afford to keep paying their tuition. We need more entertainment options. We need to improve the housing opportunities so that there's not this dichotomy between places where students may have to go in debt, but they're really nice apartments, and places that are not as nice, but they can actually afford. We also need to improve the safety for students vis-a-vis walking and bicycling. Most of them don't have cars. They need, if they want to get around to town to shop at all our local businesses, they need to be able to get there safely.
Okay, thank you. Now we will give you an opportunity for a 1-minute closing statement, and we are going to start with Gerald Henrich.
Thank you. Well, I'd sure appreciate your vote.
Navreet?
Well, thanks for having us here. I really enjoyed visiting with you. I'd like to visit with you after when we have more time left. But having traveled around the world, lived around the world, and having had a great deal of management experience, business administration experience, and the education that I have, I think I'll be a very good council person for the city of Carbondale. So I ask for your vote April 9th.
Okay, thank you. Brent?
Yeah, I was being born and raised in Carbondale. The city means an awful lot to me, especially because I made the choice to come back after being gone for 23 years. And when I think about Carbondale, I think about how I just wasn't raised by my parents, but I was raised by hundreds of people in this community. And I kind of take it very personally to see Carbondale kind of going in a direction that's not in its best interests. Interesting, Marcia Sennett was my 5th grade teacher. That was the last year she taught. I hope I didn't have an impact on that. But just as an example of how this community interacts with its kids, Marcia actually literally drew me out of class one day in 5th grade. I think I was constructing a catapult and shooting BBs across the room. And she literally took me out of class and shook me and said, "Brent, you can be a brain surgeon someday. You don't have to be doing this." My first response was gross, brain surgeon. But it was one of those pivotal and impactful moments of my life. And I've had so many moments with so many members of this community, and I care so deeply for it, and I want to see its transformation through.
Thanks, Brent. Okay, Jessica?
Thank you. Thank you again for having us here. I have a lot of ideas that, it's hard to get across in 60 seconds, and that's one of the challenges of these kinds of events, but I'd love to talk to you all about any of your ideas, because as I've been running, I've been talking to other people, a lot of whom I went to school with here, and whether they're still here or they've left, and they come back and visit, and you can see the changes. There have been a lot of changes over the years, even since, I'm just a graduate of the class of 99, but even since then, when I left for college and came back, there were a lot of changes in Carbondale, and people are always mentioning, you know, whatever happened to this business or that business. And I think that, you know, you all who are here, one of the things I keep saying is we just need to think more creatively. A lot of people have a lot of great ideas, and I want to hear all of them, and we can try to hopefully figure out how to make them happen. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Lee?
I have enjoyed serving on the city council for the past 2 years. I've certainly learned a lot about city operations. There's a lot of time has to be devoted to the job, but I certainly have enjoyed it. I want to work with fellow council members and city staff to move our city forward. I take a lot of pride in Carbondale. To me, Carbondale is the ideal size. It's not a real big city, but we have a lot of big city amenities here. I want us to continue to be the center of action here in Southern Illinois. So I would appreciate your support in returning to the council by voting for me on April the 9th. Thank you.
Thanks. Carolyn?
As everyone else has said, thank you so much for spending your time with us today. I do appreciate it. I really like living in Carbondale. And I stayed in Carbondale simply for that reason. I really like living here. I think, and I see us as a big family. Everyone in Carbondale, you're part of my family. And just like in any family, you have your little people who you wonder, are you really part of my family? And we have to work together for our ultimate goal. Our ultimate goal should be to make Carbondale the best possible place it can be, whether that's helping with enrollment at SIU, helping to improve the housing stock, whatever we need to do to make Carbondale a better place to live for ourselves, for our children, for the students who are coming here. I ask you, I would like to represent you on the city council and help to do that. I ask you to vote for me. I'm number 3 on the ballot. Again, my name is Carolyn Harvey. Thank you.
Well, that concludes